Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers from around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Well, I'm excited to be back again talking about our Gold Lactation Online Conference 2023. Of course, it's coming up really quickly here, and we've got lots of opportunity to interview our speakers, find out what they're doing, what's coming up for them, and just get some really great information about their topics they're going to be sharing about at the Gold Lactation Conference. And today I'm very excited. We have Alyssa Schnell who's with us, and she's going to be talking about supplementation, a Goldilocks dilemma. Intrigued by the question there, the statement there, Alyssa. It's great to have you here. Thank you for joining me here today. And this is not your first time here at Gold by any means, and we're so excited to have you come back. I think this topic itself is such a big one, and you have become such an expert in this area. I know you're very passionate about it, and we'll talk about those things in just a moment. But please let us know where you are in the world. Of course, we've got everyone listening in today. They want to know where you are, what you're doing, and all the things. So give us a little update.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am in St. Louis, Missouri in the United States, so right there in the middle. But I serve clients all over the world. Primarily, I'm working via telehealth. Most of my career as a lactation consultant, I was doing sort of both your traditional, typical lactation consultations and also working with clients inducing lactation. And then about a year and a half ago, I decided I just really wanted to be able to focus on inducing lactation and relactation. That's where my passion is. And I just wanted to put all my energy there. And so I kind of pruned off my typical lactation clients and working almost exclusively with inducing lactation and relactation via telehealth.
Oh, that's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
and it's so nice, having those niche areas, because I'm sure you get lots of people referring to you, and being that it's a passion of yours. And of course, you're going to be sharing some of that while you're here with us. But let's roll things back a little bit, just as a quick reminder of those of you who don't or haven't heard the story before. I always love to hear really what drove you into this particular area. What got you here? What were the driving factors?
Sure. So I started out as a La Leche leader in 2002. La Leche provided me with so much help and support with my first two children, and I wanted to be able to give back. And then we decided to adopt our third child. And I was so fortunate because I had that support structure and all these sources of
Right.
information, and also my own personal experience as a breastfeeding mom to go on as I was starting that journey, and ended up being really an amazingly positive and successful experience with my daughter by adoption. I would say that nursing my two children by birth was amazing and important and special, and it was doubly so for my child by adoption.
Mm,
And so that kind of propelled me to want to take the next step and to help more people. I knew I had a lot of advantages that
right.
many people going into this don't have, that they may
Right.
be wanting to induce lactation for their first child. They may not have the kind of support network and experience I did. So that prompted me to become an IBCLC so I could dig a little deeper into the clinical stuff, and also write a book on the topic called Breastfeeding Without Birthing. So that
Yeah.
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, please mention the book, because it's definitely a worthwhile read. It's very well written. I have it on my bookshelf.
Great.
And it's a great resource, I think, really and so encouraging as well, Alyssa, for so many folks. And I'm so glad that you did that. But did I hear you right that you actually you did all of this before becoming an IBCLC? That was your passion when you were working with La Leche League? Is that what you said?
No, so I became an IBCLC in 2009 and the book came out in 2013. So I
Right.
was
But
already,
when did you adopt your daughter?
oh, she was born in 2005. So I was a
So
La
it
Leche
was
leader,
before.
but not an IBCLC at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I mean, having the support though, I think a lot of us, I was also a Lalesh League leader and a mum of the group. And it was tremendous support. I landed there just before my first son, if you can believe that, by chance. So we all know, for those of you who have not heard of Lalesh League, definitely look them up. Great peer-to-peer support for families, which is really what a lot of families need, right, Alyssa? They just need folks that are in the same sort of situation as themselves. And it definitely is very encouraging.
Yes, yes. It gave me not only about breastfeeding, but also just about parenting. I learned and grew a lot. But for something more complicated like inducing lactation, I mean, La Leche League is still wonderful, but having
Yes,
additional support beyond that,
that's
professional
right.
support is really what I would recommend with an
Yeah,
IBCLC. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the key thing, is that you need the foundation, and then, and then you can obviously get the additional support that you might need with something that's definitely more complex. And you've also written passionately about this as well. I know, as well as your book, but I know that you've got articles that you've written for different journals and such. Is this something that you're going to continue to write about? Because I think, these stories become so relatable to folks around the world. Is there anything coming up for you? Can we inspire you, Alyssa?
Well, so I did come up with a couple of journal articles just in the last few months, last year. One on my 3-step framework for inducing lactation. So it's
Yes.
something that can be used sort of as a starting point for creating a protocol that's customized for each client based
Mm,
on their individual health and fertility history, their circumstances of their baby's arrival, their values, kind of. So it sets a framework, and then within that framework, helps guide towards tools and techniques to support the client. And then the second one was on co-lactation or co-nursing. It was a
mm,
case study from some clients I work with.
wow.
There's not a lot of information out there on
No.
co-nursing. So I was able to take their experience that was extremely positive, but also learning from other clients that I've talked with who've co-nursed, and what helps you make this successful. And maybe that kind of ties in a little bit to the subject of that I'm talking about, in that for much of my career, I was so focused on let's get the milk, get the milk in, and by the and really when the baby arrives, not to say that support totally fell off, but that was like really my focus, was getting the milk
Right.
before the baby came. And then the support did drop off, and that was something I realized that I needed to improve in my practice, is that what we do when the baby arrives, when we are dealing with a lesser milk production, really affects how much the milk the baby gets. So
Right.
I work with the co-nursing couples to support them as they balance breastfeeding between two people, but also with clients where there's one person who's breastfeeding and they're balancing that with the
Hmm.
other thing, which would be a supplementation with formula or donor milk, or sometimes their own milk. And how we supplement really makes a big difference as far as the long-term outcomes, and something that I just feel like I wasn't supporting very well for a long time, and really starting to think about how I can do that better. And that's one of the reasons why I put together this presentation to talk about, and that's the Goldilocks thing, is like, we don't want to not supplement enough, obviously. That's the
Right.
baby's not getting enough. But what I found was clients were tending to over supplement because they were so afraid of under supplementing. But if you
Yeah.
over supplement, that means that the baby's getting less of the parent's milk. So if we can help parents to find that perfect spot where they're not too much supplementation, not too little supplementation, just the right amount, um, then that's going to be the optimal outcome for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's a balance that a lot of people get into. The supplementation, dilemma, so to speak, is really hard, and we hear about it all the time. There's different variables. So I'm actually really excited to hear, what you have been able to plan out and work with clients and just get a nice refined balance. But yeah, this topic, I know it's one that it's been around for a long time. I know I'm preaching to the choir to you, but I think that we're starting to see people really open up and understand how beneficial this is. Whereas maybe back in the day, a lot of people, well, I know there's still people that don't know that you can actually, lactate a baby if you didn't birth them. So, this is something that's really exciting for a lot of our families. And then again, as you mentioned, some, co-nursing as well, which is so valuable for so many families today. So that's wonderful. Well, I mean, there's so many things here we could talk about, but we'll get more time together. I promise, Alyssa. I know you're going to be here for our GOLD Lactation Online Conference 2023. So thank you so much for speaking with me again today. It's been so lovely catching up with you.
Thank you. Good to talk with you, Fiona.
Yeah. And for all of you joining us here today, don't forget you can head over to our GOLD Lactation website now, goldlactation.com. Register for this event. It's going to be absolutely mind-boggling. Let me tell you, every year I think that, maybe there's not going to be any more research, or maybe there's not going to be any more amazing topics to talk about. But I'll have to say that this is one of the fastest growing, fields that we have in medicine really right now. And because the demand is there, our families need you. They need the information, and you can come to us. We're going to provide you with the most up-to-date clinical resources, evidence-based information, and really the case studies and stories that you really need to have in order to make good decisions with your family. So we'll look forward to having you online with us. Thank you again to Alyssa Schnell for being with us here today, and all of you for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye for now.